Okay, so for today's video, we're actually going to be talking about Heian. Now, Heian is a Jujutsu Kaisen inspired game, and a lot of people call it the sorcery killer and things of that nature. Mainly because when sorcery was going through its open playtest, there was a lot of videos and sneaks being put out of Heian, and once people found out sorcery was a scam, people were just saying, forget sorcery, Heian is in development, let's focus and play Heian. And this was back in like November. So fast forward, we're here now, and Heian is getting closer to the point where they want to release to the public. We're not there yet, but it's getting closer. Now today's video is going to be a little bit different. Usually I would do my first day inside of Heian along with like a separate video that would break down my experience in Heian. Well, today we're actually going to be putting the gameplay and the review in the same video, mainly because I'm sick and I just don't want to do all that extra work. And within the gameplay, I'm not going to do the boring stuff of me progressing. I just kind of want to show you guys the game's combat, as well as like the abilities, the curse techniques, etc. And then after that, I will break down my experience with the game, if I think the game is good, etc. And basically just summarizing how I feel. So without further ado, let's actually get straight into this. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new, and yeah, let's get straight into this. Pretty quick, just 1v1 so we can get a feel of the combat system. It doesn't feel stiff or anything. Why is Amy acting like she knows how to play the game? Wait, no, the combat system doesn't feel bad. Okay, that's definitely copyright music right there. I literally, this is the Gojo song, bro. But it goes kind of crazy with the combat tag. Y'all hear the music clearly? It's kind of heat, low key. Amy, stop trying to show off, bruh. Wait, hold on. I don't know if this is permadeath or not. I can't grip Amy. There's a mission board. Examine weak curses. Well, let's just do the weak curses one. I didn't say examine, I said exterminate. Can you guys not read, bro? I said exterminate, bro. What's the movement saying? Exterminate weak curses, something wild. No idea what that is, but we're gonna find them. Oh yeah, there is a party system. I'm pretty sure these are what we're meant to kill. That was an easy kill. Damn. Wait, that's a lot inside the chest pool joint. Let's exercise a powerful curse. Oh, they just spawn in front of you. Bro, these NPCs get in the way for real. Why are the developers helping us, Amy? Developers, go away. Oh, we are meant to be duo progressing. Mob looks like Axe. This looks like you, Salty. You can't even handle that as a level 1? Who told you that? I can most definitely handle it. I thought he was gonna start riding that joint. Amy, you just gonna stand there? Yeah, I'm a parry demon. Is that Icarus right behind the mantis, bro? Okay, Amy, you could have chilled. You can chill. You can chill, Amy. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna put my joint in, bro. Perform horizontal slash. Let's just go 50 in that bit right now. Alright, it's time to save the day. Oh, damn. Unlike Amy, I know how to parry. I should be good. Amy's got the bleed effect on her. These mini bosses, bro. It wasn't even a chest that dropped from the little Yeti joint. You know how unsatisfying it is beating a mini boss and not actually getting anything, bro. What do you do with cursed embryos? Obtaining shrine. Okay. Don't know what shrine is. Remember when Yuji used that sword? Oh, I got absolutely murdered. I thought it died because I got the little blue joint. Okay, looks like you do get some stuff for killing it. See, but look at this, the chest loot pool, bro, for defeating that. I honestly don't think that's. Yeah, ice actually looks pretty nice. Okay, I do not want to fight that guy. I'll be real. Hey, come over here, please. I do not want to fight that guy, bro. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That one looks fire. I don't even think it's the combat that's the issue. Well, I mean, I don't think it's the abilities that's the issue. I feel like it's more of a gameplay thing. Like gameplay wise, there's not too much to do, bro. Amy, where are you going? Is Amy running? Why is Amy running? So yeah, that's the gameplay. There's a lot of good things about the game. However, I'm gonna focus on the negatives about the game, mainly because I feel like the devs already know what makes the game good already, and I feel like giving the negatives isn't me bashing the game, is more along the lines of constructive criticisms, and I would want them to focus more on the side of the game that needs improvement rather than this giving a bunch of compliments and glazing. One thing I will say is the base combat is there, like it's good. So honestly, they don't really need to worry about too much when it comes to the game's base combat system. Genuinely, I think the base combat is good. However, on the other side of things, there are a lot of things that I feel like need improvement to make the game more entertaining. If I have to be 100% completely honest, I have to be 110% completely honest, I did get bored playing. And that's really bad to say, mainly because the game isn't even out and I got playing. Now, if I was to compare something like this to a game like Sorcery, which is the only thing I can compare it to, although Sorcery's progression system wasn't that great at all, if we're being quite honest, I didn't get bored of Sorcery, and it was fairly quick to max out. Regardless, I didn't get bored of Sorcery. I progressed like 5 different slots and I still was actually like enjoying my time. Now, Sorcery is a scam game, so it doesn't really matter, but I feel like Sorcery had things like the culling games, which actually made things worth grinding, whereas in this game there isn't actually anything like that. Now, obviously, the developers did say things like the culling games is going to come in future updates, but I do think this is something that needs to be put into the game before it releases, or it might be cooked. If we're being quite honest, the game feels big and somewhat empty. Now, obviously there are board quests that you can get and then mobs will spawn in and you fight them, but if we're being quite honest, that's not that interesting. I feel like the overworld needs something more. Obviously random events would be cool, and there are random events and random NPCs placed around specific places, But I feel like if the only thing to do in the overworld is to get a quest board and then run around and then the mobs spawn on you and you fight them, that's a little bit boring. I feel like there needs to be more into the overworld, especially if the overworld's gonna be big. There needs to be things to do. Obviously, there are things like trainer locations where you can learn your curse techniques. And for some reason, there was a deep woken crypt type of cave, which doesn't need to be in this game. But I'm talking more along the lines of things like maybe there's a cave, a secret cave at a certain location. You go in there, it's like a mini dungeon. More along the lines of Deep Woken. It looks like this game is trying to be a Deep Woken with its open world. If that's the case, there needs to be things like Deep Woken in the game. For example, like when you go to Higher Arissa, there are multiple places in Higher Arissa you can go. There's like little crevices that lead you into caves where you can find stuff like Sharkos, secret passages, etc. It's how you get to the Duke. There's the area with the stone golems. There's the area of the little church with the kids inside the church that you gotta kind of save. And there's a little mini quest there. There's just a lot of different things going on at different places. If you're gonna have a game that has open world traversal, there needs to be different things to do in different sections of the map. Kind of almost like Voxel Blade. Every place or every section or every different biome not only had quests you could do within those biomes, but there was also secret mini things that you can find to help with your progression, whether it's like a villager quest or like there's a mob that you need to do, or you go to a different biome and it's a completely different gameplay experience. Every biome has its own thing that actually immerses you into the game, and inside of Heian, this game just doesn't have that. Feels big, but it low-key feels end time. As well as that, this doesn't feel like a Jujutsu Kaisen game. It doesn't feel like a Jujutsu Kaisen game. Now, obviously, at a certain point, once you reach grade 2, you can actually get your curse techniques, and that's good. You gotta find the location of each trainer, learn the curse techniques, and you know, you get to use your abilities. However, if you're being quite honest, before you even get to grade 2, the game doesn't give Jujutsu Kaisen. It just doesn't give Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, the game is meant to be set in the Heian era of the Jujutsu Kaisen world. However, as a lot of people do know, there's not a lot of source material on the Heian era. And like the people inside of my chat said when we were playing, if that is meant to be the case, with the era the game is set in, there needs to be more armors that represent olden or ancient Japan. Yokai monsters. The monsters shouldn't be giant yetis or a giant bear with one eye, a cyclops bear. That's not, it doesn't give olden Japan. It doesn't give yokai. There are honestly hundreds of yokai monsters to take reference from, and it's not that it's bad that they have mobs that aren't like yokais, but none of the monsters, the map, the scenery, the vibe, the armors you're wearing, the weapons, none of that gives ancient Japan. None of that gives Heian era vibes. And if you're going to set your game based off of a certain time frame or time period, it should feel like it. It should honestly feel like. That's like the new Assassin's Creed game. It's meant to be like feudal Japan. However, the game is set in Italy and everyone's wearing Italian clothes. It wouldn't make much sense. So yeah, those are just my opinions. Overall, the game actually isn't bad, but there needs to be more in the game to make it more entertaining, because in the nicest way possible, the game is kind of boring to a certain degree. There's a lot of running around and not a lot of actual gameplay. However, the game does have potential. The game does have a nice combat system. The weapons that are in the game are actually quite nice to use. They all have different crits, etc. The game stat system actually looks pretty interesting. I didn't get to go in depth with that, but the game stat system looks interesting. Again, it kind of takes from Deep Woken to a certain extent, and there's a lot you can do with stuff like that. But from what I've experienced, it's the feedback I'm getting. Again, the game is good, but there's a lot of improvements that need to be made in my opinion, and there needs to be more actual gameplay elements that gives players the reason to actually play the game. I feel like a lot of the gameplay right now is just doing the quest boards and running around, whereas there's not much incentive to run around and explore the map. It would make sense if there was things that you need to actually explore the map to find other than trainers, but the game just feels like it feels empty. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Those of you guys that were in the stream, let me know what you thought of what we played as well, or if you are Heian tester or you've played Heian, give your honest opinions in the description, in the comment section as well. I've seen a lot of YouTuber videos where they just say Heian is great and they're just PvPing for 20 minutes straight and there's not really any real opinions. Yes, the PvP is actually pretty good. However, the game or Roblox anime games need to be much more than just a good combat system and standing around PvPing for an hour and then running an arena for the rest of your gameplay. We need actual gameplay. Peace.